Everyone told us we were crazy to move across country, from lush, green Vermont to the hot sun-drenched deserts in Arizona. And they were right. I'm Ryan, and that sexy beast next to me is my better half, Tyler. We are two cat dads who braved a cross-country move from Vermont to the deserts in southern Arizona to build our dream permaculture homestead, and eventually a destination site for digital nomads, campers, hunters, wildlife enthusiasts, and anyone wanting seclusion in this beautiful, rugged desert landscape. This channel specifically is about our journey with our fur babies in the Arizona desert, building our homestead, permaculture, orchards, and food forests, dryland water harvesting, renovating campers and structures, while finding resources to recycle and reuse, and, of course, growing food where most people think it's crazy. Arizona gets about 10 to 14 inches of rain per year, if you're lucky. And when it rains, it doesn't just politely soak into the soil, it rushes, floods, erodes, and disappears downhill in minutes. If you don't slow it down and spread it out and try to sink it into the ground, you won't have water. You won't be recharging the groundwater, and we'll be just pulling from the groundwater systems. We don't want runoff. We don't want erosion. We want to keep the water on the property as long as possible, to recharge the groundwater, and to make this site a thriving, natural way forward in a very dangerous climate. To be honest, when we first started digging these swales and collecting rocks to do check dams and organic matter to do beaver analog dams, we realized the vast scope of this project. While we only technically have 20 acres on this property, there's 40 acres in total between my brother and I, and we haven't subdivided anything just yet, at least, but it's just a lot of work. My grandfather did put in 2 ponds, which are, I'm sure, half the reason everything is so green and lush in this specific area. And it definitely held water up until recently. One of them still has water. The other one's really just mud now. So they definitely work, but we need to really max out the system by getting a machine that's large enough to do some of this work on a larger scale across the larger sets, specifically up the hill. And if we can get some grants to do some of the state land around and behind us, that would be even more epic. I should note that swales and beaver analog dams and check dams and gabions are all passive ways to collect water. There's no pumps, there's no electricity, and there's no tanks in this system. In those systems, I should say. We do have a well on the property, which I think is kind of vital to be in the desert, at least until we can get all of the other systems like rainwater catchment and stuff in place, and to have as a backup, because without water, there is no life. I've only been here for just over 2 months now, and we've already seen 2 or 3 rain events, with one potentially coming this Thursday, Christmas. It's a crazy time to think that there's been a lot of rain here this winter. I'm not sure if that's normal or not in terms of historically, if they get a lot of rain during the wintertime. I'm pretty sure the bulk of the rain that comes down here in Arizona comes between June and October during their monsoon season. But it's nice to see that we've come down here and then we've gotten to see a couple of rain events. Not quite ones that I would say have like carved out and eroded some of our landscape, but enough to see the track of water and the damp soil around the areas that it did do it. We can also test these by filling up the swales to see how they hold water and how long it takes for it to percolate down through into the groundwater, and to basically billow out through the dry landscape downhill. At the moment, we have worked on 3 swales and a plethora of little check dams and multiple African smiles or Zuni pits or Zuni bowls, however you want to work on calling that, as well as guerrilla seeding as many of the areas that we have been able to with local seeds procured from people that we visited or basically just in the local area or on the property itself to maximize all of our different trees. We are so lucky to have a large swath of mesquite forest on property, primarily in the washes, but the whole entire property has mesquites covering it, as well as catclaw acacia and a slew of different types of cactus, from cholo and prickly pear to hedgehog cactuses. We even have a few saguaros. After just a few rain events and artificial filling, we've noticed an improvement in both the soil texture and organic matter that we're able to hold in the soil. Mind you that we have added things like biochar and leaf litter, and even some soil from around the longer, older mesquite trees, kind of boosts this process. And or we've also used some sort of mulch system or organic material that we put on top of to help retain more of the moisture and allow it to soak in a little bit slower. And Tyler and I just want to wish every one of you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Yule, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever version of the holiday season you celebrate, we're celebrating with you. Know that we appreciate and care for every one of you, and the diversity in this community is really what it's all about. It's such a beautiful season of rebirth as we head from the longest night of the year, which was yesterday, and we start ascending back to longer days, heading towards the warmth of summer and spring. And we just really appreciate every one of you for taking the time to watch these, to like and subscribe, or just being here with us for this journey. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, and truly wish you a warm, cheerful holiday season. If you've ever wondered what homesteading in the Arizona desert is like, if you are a homesteader yourself, or if you are LGBTQ+ or an ally, if you are a permaculture nerd, or if you're just here for the cats, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and drop any questions you have in the comments. I'd love to know what other kind of videos you're interested in, and we will catch you in the next one.